my name is Jennifer Barrett, and I'm going to be talking about night markets in Taiwan. What are night markets? Night markets are large street markets located in suburban and urban areas throughout Taiwan, and essentially they're going to be in any major city that you come across, and even in some rural areas. Basically, they're going to have vendors selling a lot of different items, so there's going to be a lot of free street, local, and cultural foods there. You're going to be able to buy things such as clothing, jewelry, and other consumer goods. And then there's going to be a lot of games there and other things to do. And the operation times on these night markets will vary, so they're going to be open on different days of the week, not every day normally. And then they'll open around 5 or 6 p.m. and stay open until about midnight or 1 a.m. They're also going to be pretty crowded, and they get more crowded as the night goes on, so they're not as crowded early on, but they are pretty crowded. Where do night markets come from? The concepts of night markets can actually be traced back to the Tang and Song dynasties of China, with government regulations were a little bit more strict back then, but there were night markets and they were popular places at night for people to go shop and get food. And so in Taiwan, however, they basically started as small urban markets in larger cities, on street corners or in temple plazas or wherever people could line up to sell their goods. And they began to spread outwards and become more popular around 1950. And migrant workers were the common customers at these night markets because it was an easy place for them to go to get cheap foods. And night markets typically do sell ChE foods, which are basically foods in small portions. And so you could just try a bunch of different foods and get a lot of food for cheap and just kind of share and get a lot of different foods rather than just getting one big meal. And as time progressed on, night markets began spreading, and by 1970 you could find night markets essentially anywhere you went in Taiwan. Common foods at night markets are going to be ChE foods, or small eats or snack foods. So each dish is going to be around 30 to 50 new Taiwanese dollars, which is pretty cheap compared to foods that you might get at carnivals or other market type things in the US. So popular foods there are going to be a lot of seafood, so things like oyster omelets or squid. There's going to be like fried sweet potatoes. There's going to be a lot of iced teas and cold fruit drinks there. Stinky tofu is a really popular food, which smells bad but tastes pretty good. And then there's going to be some Western food as well, so there's going to be things like sausages or fried chicken. There's also going to be some weirder delicacies, such as like pig blood cake. Other things to do at night markets are play games. So there's a lot of games involving popping balloons. So there's dart shooting and BB gun shooting. There's also like ring and ball toss. The claw crane games are really popular. Forms of pinball and other things like that are all popular options where you can win stuffed animals and other prizes. Another popular thing to do is shop, so you can get so many things at night markets, whether it be clothes or souvenirs. They have toys available, different knickknacks. They have other accessories. They'll have hats, purses. They have a lot of shoes as well, and then they'll have like other consumer goods, like I touched on earlier, with like suitcases and things like that. Finally, we'll talk about the night markets that we visited. So we visited 2 night markets, which was the Tatung Night Market in Tainan, and then the Shilin Night Market in Taipei. And so you can see some comparisons on the screen there, and then we're just going to go right into some pictures and videos taken at these night markets.